Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is Dan from Inside the Booth, and over here we have Tabitha.
Yeah. I forgot my paper to indicate where you are. Hang on, I need to put my piece of paper over here.
So tonight we're going to be reviewing Ever After, a Cinderella Story, made in 1998, which is a cute movie. But before we get into it, let's just talk about merchandising. Merchandising. Where all the real money of this show is made.
That's right.
Go get yourself a mug. www.insidetheboothtv.com. Get a hat. No, we don't have hats yet. Or pins yet, but we'll get there. Get a shirt. Get a neck gaiter. Get a hoodie. Get a mask if you really need one. Yeah, that's right. Get a koozie. We got some koozies over here.
Yeah. R2 in the chat.
R2, how are you? R2 says, I have one of those.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah.
He does. Thank you for the promotion there, Ricky.
Where you can also follow us at Inside the Booth.
That's right. Follow us at Inside the Booth on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, blah, 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 and blah,
all
blah,
the
blah.
socials.
all the social media. Just type in Inside the Booth or Inside the Booth TV, and you'll probably find us somewhere. If you don't find us, leave us a message on Twitter or somewhere and tell us, hey, I didn't find you on this social platform. Maybe you should join it. Maybe. And, maybe we will if we have enough manpower to do so.
You're not allowed to say manpower anymore, by the way. It's person power.
Woman power.
It's person power.
Energy power from myself.
Maybe they power or them power.
Them power. Let's just go. Let me just say one thing. On some of my stuff, I want to put on there he, she, he as a pronoun, because I'm a he pretending to be a she, pretending to be a he. So
you're really just being yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you like that, we got more for you. Did you know
more where that came from?
That's right. There's more where that came from. Did you know back in 2006 when Facebook first started, I actually had a Facebook. That one's long gone. I started a new one back in 2012. But the one that I started in 2006, it asked what gender I was. And of course, me thinking I'm funny, I put on there a female. So it would always say, Dan Arena, she said, or send her a message,
That's great. Oh, that's
and so I was before the times of the confusion. Yeah, whatever's going on now, where everybody says that they're a she when they're really a he, and they're a he when they're she. I don't know, it's weird. So I did it as a joke, though, just
right.
Saying.
Right.
Phil's online. He's laughing.
Phil.
He says, OMG, Dan. LMAO. I love that.
I know. He's like, I came here for a movie review. What are we talking about?
Man, what are we talking about over here?
What are we talking about? Well, we like to keep things fresh and original, keep the spice of life there, because you just never know what to expect here on Inside the Booth.
That's right.
You don't know what you're walking into.
You never know. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a show once a month or something where we just sit down and just talk about anything.
And see where life takes us.
Yeah, and see where it takes us.
You should do it where you have a bowl. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was just thinking, what if you just had a bowl, like a bag of random, like it literally just has words in it or a phrase, and you pull it out and we're like, and just see where that goes. Like you pull it out and it's talking about paperweights, and just see where that goes.
There you go. Yeah.
And after 5 minutes, you pull another one and be like, how can we connect this with the paperweights? Conspiracy theory weekend. There we go.
Right, exactly. That'd be great.
Sounds like fun. Oh my gosh. like categories, but for conversation.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, all I was gonna say was, let's see if it's gonna be interesting or boring. Everybody unsubscribes if we do something like that, or they'll subscribe. Who knows?
You never know. Maybe nobody else on YouTube has ever done something like this. We could be trendsetters.
That's right. We're trendy over here. So we got Phil saying Tabitha looks great as always. He's loving that.
Your
the shirt,
Ghostbuster
Dan.
shirt,
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. That's right. Ghostbusters.
R2 says that you're looking pretty fine too, though, Dan.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Rick. That's great.
Yeah. Gotta recognize,
That's right. We're all looking good tonight, everybody. Even you guys. I can't see it, but I'm sure you're looking fabulous.
Yes, queen. Dan, we better talk about this movie. We really are going to do a bag of random, aren't we?
we are. That's about it.
I think it's because it's been a long day.
It has been a long day for all of us. I think, All right, so Ever After, a Cinderella Story, stars Drew Barrymore. What's his name? Duggar Scott.
Duggar, yeah, Scott. And Angelica
Houston. She's the supposedly evil
stepmother.
But you know what I thought was funny is that in this movie she does have a little bit of you kind of feel for her a couple of times, like I feel bad for her, but then in the end she gets what she deserves anyways.
You reap what you sow, which we'll talk about that.
Okay,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricky says, you need to say my tagline about this movie. Ricky. I don't have it on me right this second. But it was funny, but probably, a little bit, just a little inappropriate to post. So that's why he's going to say it anyway. Oh, that one. No, that one's funny. Yeah. Drew Barrymore isn't Adam Sandler's girlfriend in this Cinderella story. Yes.
Oh, that was 50 First Dates, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, and another
50 First Dates. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
50 First Dates. Let's see, Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. You had The Wedding Singer, which I love that movie.
Right. I was gonna say they've been together.
Good.
In different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they never dated. I don't know if they really did, but I'm surprised that they didn't. If they did,
might have just been good friends. They just worked really well together.
Right, exactly. Amber says, "Hola." Sorry,
hey,
I was gonna say holo.
Holo.
Kind of like YOLO.
Yeah, this movie, I like this movie a lot. We were kind of saying a little while ago that one reason. So there's some guys in the chat, and I don't know. I don't know if they've seen this film or not, but it's kind of misleading when you say. I say misleading. Hang on, it might be misinterpreted as a total just magical girly movie when you say Ever After, a Cinderella Story, because
right.
We're all familiar with Cinderella
like
fantasy,
a chick flick,
right? Disney, all this kind of stuff. But it's actually a lot more entertaining than just some guy gets girl film. I mean, there's that in there, but this movie had a lot of historical aspects. So basically this story of Cinderella is more about
Dan says some of the random as funny as things. I do. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Keep talking, Tabitha. I'm sorry.
I think R2 is a little cheeky over there in the chat comments there.
Don't try church.
Don't try church it up. Hey,
That's
I can't help it that you came onto a podcast stream where people go to church. That's just
By the way, Ricky, happy anniversary, man.
I mean, you be somewhere right now.
Yeah,
like,
Oh, they few days back they were doing some fun stuff. I think, right? I don't know.
I don't know. But, well, so just to throw, so I'm not going to church it up. I'm just going to say what even the internet would tell you. This film has romance in it. Yeah, it does, because it is a Cinderella story. But they really tried to have a historical background to it. It's not just they were trying to make it not a fairy tale, but the origin stories of Cinderella, which was apparently originally an Italian kind of folk story that then became a French folk story. And then the Brothers Grimm, who were German, took it and made it kind of more of what we're familiar with. But the story of Cinderella as a whole has been around for eons. I mean, you know, misused person finds happiness later on, you know, kind of thing.
Right. Welcome, Ricky's wife.
Yeah.
Watching us. Thank you. Now you guys are watching on a separate
right, separate two different devices, right?
So that we need can have the watch power, the watch views. Yeah,
that's right. We need them views. But
I was joking.
But yeah, I really like this movie because I'm a history buff. I enjoy that, and there is no magic in this film, so it's very realistic.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of more historical accuracy. Well, there is a fictional story, but like the costumes and the locations and everything, the characters, a lot more realistic than, you know, the fairy godmother and the pumpkin and stuff like that.
Right. And I love the costumes. You know, it kind of reminds me of the Renaissance festival that I went to,
which is what they were trying to mimic. It was 16th century France.
Right. So that's a lot of fun. It was a good movie.
With heavy Italian influence.
There you go. And we like Italian influences, by the way. Mamma mia.
They're all right.
Mario.
They're all right.
Anyways, they're all right now.
Oh, your people conquered my people, but I won't hold it against you.
All right, thank you. Cheers. So yeah, you know what I liked about this is that it did have some funny parts. Some of you might think that there's no comedy in these things. This was actually what I would consider to be more of a romantic comedy. It had some funny parts. Yes, there was a little drama, but the drama wasn't the as much as
I'm like, this was totally a dramatic movie with a little bit of comedy.
I was thinking the opposite.
I know, we're like totally turned around.
This is totally a comedy with a little bit of drama. Let's see what Phil said. Dress up as a hot dog cosplay.
Be a character this time. You'll have someone being cheeky and a smart bleep bleep. Phil being cheeky over there too. Amber, if you're in the chat, you've seen this film. Would you say this movie was more comedic or more dramatic? If you're still there, just asking for a friend.
There you go. Ask away.
I was curious to know what her take might have been on this film.
Right. Well, let me just say this. I at least laughed more on this movie than I did on
Weekend at
Bernie's.
Yes.
Just saying.
And that is so sad. That is so sad.
It's because the comedy hit. I mean, there was one part that I laughed so hard at was when the gypsies tell her and the prince there and tells her, hey, whatever you can take whatever you want with you and we'll let you go.
As long as you can carry it.
Yeah, carry anything you can, And she goes, can I get that? Are you serious about that? And he's like, yeah. Take whatever you can carry. She goes over and picks up the prince.
I know, she picks up a whole entire guy on her shoulders and walks away.
This 180-pound guy is being carried by a 30-pound woman.
30-pound woman, maybe.
and she's carrying him on her shoulders. And then they just burst out laughing. And that comedy, just like it paused a little bit to you see their faces, their expressions, and then they start laughing. And then everybody starts laughing. And it kind of
He's
made
like,
me
"Wait,
just like start laughing.
I'll give you a horse. Come back. I'll
and
give
he's
you
like,
a horse.
Get back over here. I'll get you a horse. And like they decided to have respect for her after that. Like, you know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there were funny elements. Like we were saying earlier, that it has a more organic feel to it. It's not trying to force you to laugh. It's just more of a realistic moment, you know, that it's something that happened in the conversation, you know, or all that stuff. Or is it a dramatically comedic? Or is it?
Was it dramatically
No,
comedic?
I don't think it's dramatically comedic. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. And then there's I forgot the other couple of parts that I laughed at, but I think it was more toward the end. They were funny. There was a lot of funny parts. There was a lot of how cute, how sweet part, you know, like that was sweet, that was cute, you know.
It was a healthy blend of a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a healthy blend, and I watched this one by myself this afternoon, so had to do it alone.
There's no shame. There's no shame in that, Dan.
Well, you know.
There is nothing wrong with a movie that might be leaning more towards the feminine audience, as long as it's a good story. I mean, it's kind of like the sound.
It was a good story.
It's kind of like the Sound of Music. I don't know if every dude in the world's going to be like, yeah, Sound of Music. But I mean, like, I know some pretty manly men who love it because it's a good story. It's well made.
Yeah, it is a nice story. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's the same thing with this film. I think it's kind of refreshing that it's not a ooey gooey chick flick. I think maybe that's what I'm trying to say. It's not, you know, you don't get grossed out and repulsed by the women doing weird girly things. Like you have some of the characters doing that, like the evil stepsisters, or at least the one, because they're trying to impress the prince. That scene was so funny though, with the brooch.
Yeah,
and
that was
so
funny.
For anybody who doesn't know, there's of course there's the stepmother and the two evil stepsisters, but actually one of them's not evil, she's just more laid back. So they're trying to get the one wicked stepsister to get married to the prince, and so she shows up with this brooch, which they tend to wear right here, of course, and she's, you know, on display trying to show it, and he's like, you know, that's a pretty impressive brooch. And the other sister over here, she has this feather in her hair. She takes it out and shoves it down her bodice, kind of like, you know, I'm wearing something too.
Her bust. Yeah. That was funny. I like this. R2 says, "Leave Daddy alone. He's reviewing Cinderella." Yes,
that's right.
That's so good. And you know what's funny? I think I like this Cinderella type story a little bit better than what Disney did. Disney did.
Yeah.
I mean, of course they did a good job, and that's probably what everybody, you know, kind of goes after is what Disney did. But I think I like this better. Because it's a live action, it's not a cartoon. And then when Disney made their live action Cinderella movie, it was kind of dumb.
I haven't seen that one. I'm sure it's pretty similar to the cartoons, or at least it's in the way that like Beauty and the Beast was redone, like pretty much the same, but nothing necessarily spectacular.
Right.
But yeah, again, this is supposed to be more of a historical thing. So like her name isn't actually Cinderella, her name is Danielle, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they have all these French names and things like that with all of the characters. And you know, because Cinderella was actually supposed to be, like, in the original stories, was supposed to be like a nickname, because she was always in the cinders. She was always cleaning the fireplaces. So they just made this cutesy name, like, oh, Cinderella. It wasn't actually supposed to be a really pretty name. But
right. Cinder Girl. It's the Cinder Girl.
Right.
Yeah.
So they make that reference in the film, but they never actually call her Cinderella. Yeah.
Right. Hello, Heaven. How you doing? Bet Dan feels like a pretty princess. Phil. Now that's randomness. That was kind of funny.
Hey, it takes an incredibly stable man to enjoy a film that so isn't pretty. With blood, guts, gore,
so and witty,
fire. Hey, but there is a campfire in this film. So by David's standards, this is a manly movie.
You're right. There is a campfire. with the
manly movie.
Yeah. Did you just
Mic
ring
drop.
a bell? You just rang the bell. Bing, David,
sorry.
look at that.
That's right. No, that's my straw in my cup. Sorry, guys.
That's
It's
all right.
my straw in my goblet over here.
Nice. I like it. That's funny. um yeah, so I guess with the plot, we just basically talked about most of the plot there.
Right. A
Hola,
retelling,
amigos.
a
Ado,
historical
what's up, buddy?
retelling of the fairy folklore.
That's right. So yeah, I would give the plot a point because
I
it
would
was
too.
written pretty well. Yeah.
If I could, I would give it 2 points.
Yeah. Well, you can't.
But I
just
can't.
Give one. You can only give it one.
I'm gonna have to fight the system.
Yeah, talk to David about that one. He
Right.
made up the whole half point thing, and I was like, cringy for me. But I guess we'll go with it.
Yeah.
So if you really want 2 points, let's talk to David.
Right. I'll just talk to him when he gets back.
Right. And then now the acting. We already talked a little bit about the acting already. Drew Barrymore, Douglas Ray Scott was the prince.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought they did pretty well. There was one scene where Drew Barrymore cried. It didn't look like she was crying that good though. But then a couple of scenes after, she looked like she was really crying. She was into that scene. But there's just one scene where she was pretending to cry, and it didn't look. It
must not have been
quite
quite as real for her in that particular scene. Yeah.
So, but other than that, I'll give the acting a point.
I
think they all did a good job. Even the evil stepsister and the mother and all them. Yeah.
Okay. We can't talk about the acting and all that stuff and not mention Angelica Houston's amazing performance. Let me tell you, this woman, nobody raises an eyebrow like Angelica Houston, except for maybe Dame Maggie Smith. But like she is so good at facial expressions, especially if she's conveying like condescension. Like she's now I'm assuming but she was also Morticia Addams in the 1991 film of the Addams Family. I don't know if you know that or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but
yeah.
Cool.
And so, I mean, she's a phenomenal actress. She's been in many a thing and won quite a few awards, but she, it's one of those things where you have the bad person and you like them just because the actress or the actor does them so well. I mean, I don't like the evil stepmother, but I do just because, again, she was portrayed like spot on. Like you didn't really want to like her, but then like you were saying, there were those moments where her character, she had an emotional moment. Like she kind of broke a little bit. Like you saw her be a little sad or a little regretful. And then she went back to her ways. And I thought that was done really well. Again, having that little bit of she wasn't just evil. You could tell that she had something of a backstory that she totally wanted to omit from her life or whatever. And so, I mean, and then her daughter, I mean, like, she just makes you cringe because she did that really well too. Like she played the obnoxious evil stepsister so well. So yeah, I
bratty.
Definitely give.
Definitely
yes, totally bratty. And so, and then the Spanish princess at the end too, when he's supposed to get married, and she's just like,
is she's crying the whole time because
sobbing,
she doesn't marry him. Yeah,
that is weeping at its finest, man. Like you're at your wit's end and you can't do any more when you're crying. Is just weird noises.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, I think everybody did a really, really good job in this film.
All right, let's hit up a couple of comments. Drew Barrymore says, of all the films she's worked on, this was her favorite.
I read that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Avery Cruz. Hey, I made it. Dan and Tabitha. Hey. What's up? Hey, Avery Cruz. Thanks for joining.
Phil
says, the girl who plays? And the guy, he rewrites.
Oh,
You know the girl who plays Cinderella. You're talking about the little girl in the beginning, right? That plays who Drew Barrymore plays after. I think that's what he
yeah,
means. Kind of
yeah.
reminds me of the girl who plays Lucy
Lucy.
in Chronicles
Well,
of Narnia.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, it's probably because of the accent. You know, you
Or the
got that.
teeth.
Yeah, or the teeth. Yeah, got that British accent there almost. You know, which is
Yeah.
weird because they're supposed to be French. You know, so that kind of
Well,
makes me wonder.
The English accent can be used for any nationality. You notice
Yeah,
if they're in Rome, they're English. If they're in
yeah,
France, they're English. It does not matter where, and
right.
unless they're in the Americas or Canada, they're English.
Yeah, that's right. If they're in America and they're Italian, you get that New York accent like thing.
Exactly. There's
Hey,
just something.
what are you doing now, huh?
I see that R2 has noticed my painting in the back of that
Oh
little
yeah,
Angelica
sorry. Go ahead.
Houston in the back. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I see that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There'll be a grand reveal for that. You can't see all the details. She's my character crossover that I'm going to be putting on my
Oh,
YouTube
look at
channel.
that.
So,
Woo.
yeah. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have her in the background since we are kind of
Well,
talking
we're
about her a little
talking
bit
about
tonight.
her a little bit. Yeah.
Although it's a different
cool.
character, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sad this film came out when I was too. Whoops.
Oh, E.T. Yeah.
And then he goes, "Oh snap! Just realized Drew Barrymore was in E.T. Yeah, she was the little girl in E.T.
She apparently came from quite a family of actors and actresses. Like she has a bajillion family members that act, and her godmother is Sophia Loren, and her godfather, I forget who that is, but Steven Spielberg, was it? Like she has,
Oh really?
yeah, she has a
Well,
lot of
Steven
influence.
Spielberg, yeah, made that movie E.T. So
He's apparently, from what I read, her godfather. So she got it going on.
very cool, very cool.
So yeah,
Well,
I give acting a point.
All right, so that's so far 2 points for you, 2 points for me. We're doing pretty good now. We got cinematography next. You want to take this one by the reins and
Yeah. Oh, sure. Give me the one that I always kind of struggle with a little bit.
that's all right. Go for it. I like it.
Cinematography. I mean, that has to do with how they made the film and like where they like. I guess I try to do the research before I come on. I just always want to make sure I got this right. Like cinematography, like I do love like I always usually start off with like color scheme, like the color filters and things like that, because this wasn't overly vibrant. It wasn't washed out. It was kind of like, honestly, when I watched this, because it is supposed to be set in time of the Renaissance, it had that feel to it. The way the colors were presented, the way the metallics were even presented.
They even put atmosphere in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looked like the whole film would be the same color grading as a Renaissance painting. I don't know if that was intended. Most likely yes, because we know that they put so much thought most of the time when they make these films, that I really appreciated that. Just watching it, I'm like, this looks good. It looks real. It looks believable. A lot of our films these days,
muddy look.
Yeah, a lot of our films these days, it's the teal orange gradient, and so for overly dramatic stuff. So I like the way that they did this here. And then the camera angles, in the beginning, they used some pretty crazy camera angles. And then it seemed like they just kind of balanced it out. Because, in the beginning, we've got like, the swoopy sideways things. We've got the going up from above, spiraling out. And then they just kind of decided, like, once the story was set, they're like, oh, okay, we don't have to do any more crazy things. We're just going to film it normally. And then all of a sudden it just kind of went back into it. I don't find it to be problematic, but that was just something that I noticed that, so that it was a little bit more intense as far as the creativity is going for the shot of the camera.
Oh yeah.
Versus the rest of the film. So I don't know, maybe that was just because of, again, the beginning was quite dramatic. Her father dies and she gets a new mom, new sisters. Maybe that's the whole point. I don't know. But over that. Anything else? I mean, I love the fact that they were again, one of these brilliancies, I always mention it about, especially in the 90s, but it wasn't, there wasn't like all the CGI stuff. I actually did some research, and like all those locations were real chateaus in France.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
so that's really cool. It helps bring that authenticity to what is supposed to be a French, set film. So
right.
let me do a respectful booth clap here. Yes. Brava. Brava.
So, you give it a point or not?
Yeah, I give it a point.
Okay. I also liked the cinematography. I did like the atmospheric stuff that they used, the muddy look. Like when they filmed, like in the muddy scenes and stuff, or like in the hay barrels and stuff, they used the colors around them
Yeah.
to their advantage to make it look authentic, or to make it look like, okay, they're supposed to be muddy, they're supposed to be gritty, grummy, kind of scenes and stuff. So I did like the cinematography. The I didn't look up to see who the director of photography was, but whoever it is, he did a good
Booth
job.
Clap.
Yeah, booth clap. Very nice, very nice. So, yeah, I give it a point. And then on to the score, the music of the movie. I will give it a point. I did like it. It was so good that you could hardly realize it was there. It was like when the scene was supposed to be sad, it made the music a little bit on the sad side. The happy music was happy. The comical music was comical.
Right.
It just mixed well. They knew what they were doing, and they didn't just throw this together and say, "Okay, we're done." Kind of like they did with that last movie we did.
Throwing back always to Weekend at Bernie's, like
That's right.
like that's our standard rule. Like anything that could be better, it's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give the music a point because they did a really good job. And who knows, maybe I would be the type that would want this music on a CD and listen to it.
Yeah,
Why not?
It just kind of depends. I mean, like I've mentioned that before when it came to like Lord of the Rings music. Like our family, we would do quite a bit of journeying across the states, and we would just listen to music a lot of times. And we really fell in love with the musical composition of the Lord of the Rings. And there's some pretty intense stuff in there. So, it just depends on the person and what you're doing. I think car rides with really intense like classical music, I think that's brilliant. I think it inspires creativity. I also loved I liked and enjoyed the music because like you said, it really, I think it also, that was another thing too. It helped build the atmosphere of the time frame as well. Classical music, lots of stringed instruments in here. And like you said, they placed it perfectly, when things got sad, or, there could be no music and Angelica Houston would raise that eyebrow, and all of a sudden the music would get kind of whimsical or something, or serious, depending on what's about to happen. And I kind of miss that because they don't really do that in films anymore.
No, they don't. Did you see that? So if anyone wants to buy Dan a gift, he wants a soundtrack to Ever After.
I would take it too. I do. I'm telling you, I do like a good soundtrack.
Well, if you send it to me, I'll rip it and then send it to Tab.
What? I want cover art, man. That's why we buy CDs and DVDs. It's because we want the cover art.
All right, so I'll send you the original then. I'll keep the ripped one for myself.
Oh my gosh. Not like we couldn't buy it on iTunes, right? Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I would give a point for the music because again, creatively, it was set the scene, set the mood, was timed perfectly. I miss films that have that.
Yes.
Dan the pirate.
Arr, matey. Yes. So you gave it a point? I didn't
I
hear you
did.
say. Okay.
I did. I did.
All right. All right. So
I
then
feel like this
next.
movie's hitting a high note here.
That's right. That's right. What we got next is the allegory. Can we pull this one off? Ooh. Go ahead, Tabitha. You go first.
Okay. I think that there are quite a few allegories you could pull from this movie, depending on what your situation in life is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you, here's again, the great thing about this film, there's no agenda being pushed in one way or another. It's not telling you all girls want to get married. It's not telling you that all guys are self-righteous douchebags or something. It's not telling, it's not trying to promote necessarily that, all women need to read books and be smart. But that is a big thing about as far as Drew Barrymore's character, Danielle. But I mean, like, there were a lot of elements you could go in here. And I think one allegory that you could pull from this is that I've heard other people talk about, like, guys don't like smart girls, I've heard that, guys want stupid girls,
Who said that?
heard, oh, you'd be surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know guys, any guy who doesn't want a smart girl.
Really?
Just saying. Yeah.
I've met some guys who would prefer that are intimidated. Let me put it by this way: that they're very intimidated by intelligent women,
well, and that's because they're not intelligent themselves. That's why.
This is true. And so, again, you have your ifs, ands, and buts. And so it's kind of a nice growth story as well, because so the prince isn't necessarily into all of that, but he's willing to grow from that. And so when he meets this woman who loves to read and explore and think for herself, and so she seems like she'd be pretty fine on her own, but, she does enjoy this. So as far as allegories goes, like, it could be that just be you. That sounds so cliche, but, in a more elegant way, just be you. Somebody will find you for, and like you and appreciate you for who you are. I think another one is, be like, it's in the same way of just be yourself, good things will come, always do the right thing, don't, help. There's so many things you could do, because she was willing to help out the less fortunate. She felt like it was her duty, to help others. I don't really know where exactly to start with allegory. There's so many in here, I think, but I guess it all just kind of comes down to, just be yourself, hold true to your standards. There will be somebody that will appreciate you for who you are. That I guess that's the biggest one I'm going to take away from this film.
Right.
So I would give it a point for that.
Okay. Sounds good. Says, wait, not all guys are douchebags. Dan, we won. Heaven says, can a person get the sound of recordings on here? We haven't got there yet, Heaven, but we probably will. And then R2 says, thanks for calling me a douchebag, Phil. Guess who isn't getting Ever After soundtrack? That's so funny.
Phil dug himself a hole.
That's right. That's right. Phil, you forgot to include the other guys in this chat.
He's like, well, I don't know their backstory.
So, yeah. So, yeah, basically my allegory is similar to yours. It's all about identity and who you are as a person. Obviously, Drew Barrymore's character didn't have a mother or, and her father died when she was young. So she was lost in her identity. She didn't know who she was. And I really, it kind of pulled at my heartstrings when she told Angelica's character, I really wanted a mother. You're the closest thing I have as a mother, right. And it started to get me, almost teary-eyed, like almost feeling bad, and then all of a sudden,
she did such a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. And Angelica's character showed no remorse for that, and that was kind of like, oh man, what a douchebag thing to do, what a jerky thing to
Because
do.
she had
And
actually asked her, was there ever a time in your life, even for a moment, that you loved me?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're that eyebrow.
Yep.
No.
Who can love a stone in their shoe or whatever it was?
I mean, wow. Yeah.
That
And
was bad, man.
I
That
mean,
was bad.
bold-faced.
Yeah.
Bold-faced with that little smirk and that eyebrow. Who could love a
But
pebble in their shoe?
yeah, but then she obviously regretted it at the end because, they became commoners and peasants to serving at the palace instead.
And that's what's so great too, because your heart kind of gets pulled towards the evil person, and you almost don't want to, but you almost can't help have a little bit of compassion for the stepmother, even though she's a horrible person.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a part where in the movie where the stepmother's like, she started to cry a little bit about her father passing away, like, and then she was like, well, did you love him? And she goes, like in her face, it was almost like, yes, but I hardly knew him. So, I didn't have that time to get to love him the way I should.
And it could have been like a sign of weakness. I've heard somebody say, if you ever meet like a hard woman, really standoffish, very abrasive woman, you really need to ask yourself what made her that way. Because most people aren't born that way. And so it kind of, again, makes you start wondering, like, gosh, what happened to her when she was younger that she became this person with that eyebrow?
Right. Definitely. So definitely, there's a lot of identity crisis in these, and as Christians, we're there for each other to bring each other up and to help each other find who we are in Christ. So I give this a point as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you could add at the end, again, if the Christianity perspective of an allegory, the fact that, so in the end, Drew Barrymore marries the prince, and her stepmother is then needing to be punished, and she was going to be stripped of her title and sent away basically to be like a worker or slave or something like that. And instead, the princess says, no, you'll get to stay here. Basically, you'll get to stay here in the castle. You'll just be treated the way that you've treated me my entire life. And so there's a little bit of this mercy and compassion, but there's still judgment there too. So it's like, I mean, that's kind of like, again, the Christian life. We extend a lot of compassion, and we are meant to extend compassion and forgiveness, but that doesn't omit necessarily somebody's misgivings. There's still going to be, consequences for your actions.
Right. You got to take responsibility for the wrongdoing you do. Yeah.
Right.
That's for sure. So, so this movie gets a 10 out of 10. I don't think we said anything bad about it. Yeah, there's the bell. Ding, ding. I don't think we said anything bad about this movie. So, hey, everybody. If you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. I would if you have a wife or two, I would say go watch this movie with your wife.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
She might enjoy it with you. It's a good popcorn movie, romantic comedy. You sit down, relax, things like that. Yeah. So
if you like well-made movies,
yeah, that's right. It's a good story. It's a little different from a regular Cinderella movie type story. No magic. Yeah, there's no
fairy godmother.
No fairy godmothers. Yeah.
Well, and that's the cool part. They pulled out historical characters, and so Leonardo da Vinci is in this movie. He's basically her fairy godmother, but he's not. But he's that helpful person.
Yeah, he's the helpful person to help her. Yep, it's cool. She wants to watch Die Hard. Oh man.
Hey, there's then you can watch it afterwards,
Yeah, that's right. We didn't do our job. Go watch Die Hard. You know honestly, my favorite Die Hard movie is number 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I haven't seen any of them
because it has Jeremy Irons in it,
Oh.
the guy who talks for Scar.
Mm-hmm. Well, the man in the Iron Mask.
Yeah, he's in that movie. Yes, yes. I had to think about it.
Yeah. It's I wanted to see the first one because I'm a big Alan Rickman fan, but may he rest in peace. We surely miss him and his voice. Oh, miss
Oh
his
yes,
voice
yes.
so much.
He was the bad guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's always a bad guy. Or at least something a little bit more nefarious.
By the way, I was gonna mention this. Talking about who was it? Alec Rickman, right?
Alan Rickman.
Oh, Alan, whatever. You knew what I was saying. No, he was in the movie. He was in the movie Robin Hood with
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, yeah. And you know what's cool is that the guy, the white-haired guy that she saves in this movie, is the guy in that movie who is the blind guy.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not blinking, but you know it's
right.
He's the blind guy in that movie, in the Robin Hood movie. Yeah, yeah. So I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's the blind guy in Robin Hood. So it was kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think all those two particular films were around the same time, weren't they?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. I think Robin Hood was before this movie.
I think it was before this one. Yeah, this was 1998. So
yeah. Oh yeah. R2 snap. He goes, "I'll cut your heart out with a spoon." That's right. That's what he says.
Well, I think the first one there's Snape. I think he's referring to Professor Snape from Harry Potter.
Okay.
Since we're talking about the great Alan Rickman. Oh yeah, Robin Hood was made in 1991, so 7 years prior to.
Yeah. Duncan. That's right. It's Duncan, not Blinken. Thank you.
Same guy, you know. Same guy.
Though, you know, you get the reference. The same guy. He's blind, you know. Isn't it great to be home, Master Robin? One of the funniest movies ever.
Oh yeah. Which you can, watch a video about that. We reviewed those kinds of films a couple weeks ago.
That's right. Go watch it. I think that was on a Rumble, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that movie because it was. I can't remember Mel Brooks.
Or Mel Brooks. Yeah, I always say Mel Gibson.
I was about to say Mel Gibson.
Gosh, could you imagine a Mel Gibson in a Mel Brooks film? That would be
be hilarious.
It would. That'd be a whole nother special.
That's right.
Whole nother kind of special.
I think Mel Gibson would pull off a comedy. I think he has, right? A romantic.
Oh yeah, he's been in several comedies. Well, I mean, he was in the one that we reviewed. What was it called? With Jodie Foster and James Garner. What was it called, Dan? We just watched it.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Oh, it was my first time having ever seen it, where he's the gambler.
Oh, yeah. Maverick. That's it. Maverick. That's a good
I wanted to be like Shamgar or Shamrick. Okay, I've got my. I'm like, what? Like, what is this?
The Ace of Spades. You know that one.
I see. I knew there was something there. Yeah.
That's right. R2 says Maverick. Avery says Maverick. Yes.
Maverick.
We did
guys, you're a little late.
Yeah. Just a touch. Sorry.
What makes me a boomer? Because I can't remember the name of a movie that came out when I was like 3.
And then you just watched it for the first time like a couple months back.
Oh, I bet Phil's never even seen it.
Go watch it, Phil. It's a good movie. Anyways, Ever After is also a good movie. Go watch it. Everybody go watch it. Yeah, so I guess this is the end of the show. It's a little short one today, but
short and sweet.
But yeah, you guys get the gist of what we do for reviews. And this is it.
Are you impressed?
Cheers, mate. Well, I'm dropping everything in front of me. Yes, my desk is a mess, man. You can't see it, and I'm glad.
Yeah, mine's a little higgledy-piggledy, but I like what is it? RC was saying is that Phil is 15. Everyone is a boomer. He's a couple of years older than 15.
Yeah. He's like 21, right, or something like that.
I thought he said he was I don't know. Personal information. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I think he's close to there. Had to pick that up. Sorry.
I understand. Keep the planet clean,
Yeah. Keep my basement floor clean. Just my desk is a mess. That's all right. All right, everybody.
It's not a mess. It's just been lived in. Sorry.
That's right. It's been lived in. I got to clean it because it's really starting to irritate me. But that's my problem, not anybody else's. So, see, he's 25.
Close enough.
That's right. Close enough. So don't forget, everybody, go to www.insidetheboothreviews.com. Get yourself a mug. I mean, wait a minute, I forgot the TV part. www.insidetheboothtv.com. Tabitha, maybe you should talk about all that.
Oh, the rest of the stuff?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go to our website and find a slew of different kind of awesome merchandise, from koozies to mugs to T-shirts, gaiters, masks if you must wear them. Always be representing the little people if you can. You can also find ways to support us through Patreon. You can also find information about the other social media platforms that we are on, such as Twitter and Instagram. You can just type in Inside the Booth TV and we should pop up somewhere, sometime, hopefully.
That's right. And R2's got a couple of things from Inside the Booth. So that is a lot of fun. Thanks, R2, for representing. And then Phil says he was tempted to make a boomer joke about me.
Your day's coming, Phil. Your day's coming. And they're going to have a whole nother word for people your age. They are. Yeah.
Don't they have one for their age?
I meant, I guess for the younger kids. One of those more like, it's not really derogatory, but it's not really meant as a compliment when they call you something. So like in about 6 years, somebody that's like 10 years younger than Phil is going to call him a something, whatever the newest, trend is going to be. They're probably the eye people or something because of technology, the eye wads or something like that.
I think Generation Z is pretty a bad name anyways.
Gen Z.
Gen Z, there you go.
Gen Z.
I wouldn't want to be called that.
What is it? A post millennial or something? Well, really, anybody that's like my age and younger is just labeled as a millennial. It doesn't even matter the time frame anymore.
No, probably not. Not really. R2 says he loves his mug. Thank you. So everybody, listen to R2. Go get a mug from us, like he's got. Right. He loves it. Uncle Mike is on. Uncle Mike, you're late. We're leaving now, so you're gonna have to rewatch this later. I need to take a better picture of it. Maybe one with me in it. What's that, with the mug? Yeah. Take a picture with your mug. Send it to us. We'll post it on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Gen X, Gen Y, Millennial, Gen Z. Yes, R2 says that. Boomer. Now, okay, well, anyways, thanks everybody for coming. I think this is going to be the end of us reading your stuff, and we are going to head out so that we can get some sleep. And you guys go get some sleep and maybe rewatch this or go watch a movie.
Ever After.
Ever After is a good one.
It's on Disney Plus.
And yeah, there you go. It's on Disney Plus. I didn't realize it was on Disney Plus. Disney didn't make it though, right?
No, because it was made by Sony. I just found that out today. It was on there because they bought, was it Fox? No, it was made by Fox, and so they bought Fox.
Right, they bought Fox. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to vanquish that like button. And, subscribe, hit the bell button, get notified with other content coming soon. We also got some pre-recorded stuff coming soon, and you guys will enjoy that. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you again Sunday. And don't forget Sunday is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rumble.
That's right.
Bill's going to be on. And we'll have a couple
The
other
one and
people
only.
too. And so don't forget to join us there on Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or they call it now Eastern Daylight Time. I don't know why they do that.
Why not nighttime?
Eastern Nighttime. Eastern, we're on the east side over here.
Why is it got to be during the day?
Right.
Sorry.
Anyways, goodbye, everybody. Have a good night. Talk to you later.